Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. Just want you to know what a joy it is just to be here with you. Nothing really to do except to be in the loveliness of your being. You have everything you need for a most beautiful day today. Stay centered, allow the energy to flow through you. Know that you're always connected to your source, and allow your source to be the source of you, of your joy, especially today. Just a couple of comments before we begin. First of all, tomorrow we will have all of our regular Monday services in groups. So we'll have the morning alchemy class. We'll also have the afternoon alchemy class. And then tomorrow evening, we'll have a meditation from 7 to 8. We invite you to join us as you're able to do so. And then tonight, we'll be having our topical conversation from 6 to 7:30 p.m. It's really going to be wonderful. It's about setting loving boundaries. I think it'll be fun. I certainly would enjoy having you join us if you're able to do so. Tonight from 6 to 7:30. My dear friends, let me just begin by saying I so appreciated your comments from last week's teaching on the three major challenges that keep us locked into our daily dramas. That me first attitude, tough desire to control, and then thirdly, the age-old problem of fear. And it seemed that you also very much appreciated the three antidotes. The antidote of oneness to the me first attitude, the antidote of soul guidance, rather than trying to control what you cannot control. And thirdly, the antidote of providence and love to overcome the lower energy of fear. It's truly wonderful to see so many of us moving beyond our old habits and into a higher, better spiritual us. This new spiritual us who are so much more in the flow of the larger energy of spirit. What I would like to do in today's teaching is to take you more deeply into those deeper, more insidious worms of lower energy, and then raise you into the larger flow of spirit. Today's teaching, therefore, is entitled, Where the Attention Goes, the Energy Flows. Where the attention goes, the energy flows. Again, you might want to take some notes. Let's begin. What I'd like to do, first of all, is to raise the bar for you in the conscious flow of the God Spirit, to take you not just from bad to good, but from good to better, and then, of course, from better to best. While we acknowledge those three big obstructions in last week's teaching, what is not so apparent are the many little obstructions that block the flow of energy. It's these little obstructions that are just as obstructive as the big three of me first, control, and fear. What makes these little obstructions so insidious is that, well, they don't appear to be as big as the big three. They are more readily accepted. In fact, many of the small blockages are considered to be normal. Let me exemplify some of these moments for you. You missed out on a coupon sale and you lost your bargain. You were disappointed. Your favorite athletic team lost and it bummed you out. Your stock prices went down. You look at your cell phone every 15 minutes and are disappointed when you don't have a message, some text or phone. You binged and you ate the whole bag of cookies. A person intimidated you or pushed one of your buttons of fear or worry. You couldn't find the fresh vegetables at the supermarket that you needed for your soup. You have your haircut didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. A friend or a family member just didn't wish you a happy birthday, or something interrupted your plans for the day. Now you might be saying, well, what's the big deal? These are not major things. You're right. By themselves, none of these things are major, but it's the aggregate. It's the aggregate of these little things that block the flow of the higher energy. Let me just say it again. It's the aggregate of the little things that blocks the flow of the higher energy. Remembering where the attention goes, the energy flows. It's amazing how these aggregated things can kind of gang up on you and put you into a tiz, to the point that the sum of these little things diminish your flow of light. Or put into clearer language, in a sense, the aggregate of these lower energy circumstances begin to diminish the flow of your higher energy. And just one more of these small little things becomes the straw that breaks the camel's back of your higher light. You might even want to say, well, maybe the universe is conspiring to keep me out of the flow of this higher energy. It's so easy to say just that, well, that's just the way things are. So easy in a sense to resign yourself to the point that you just can't fight with these little things in life. What happened? What happened? Why did you cave in? Why did you settle for less when you can be in the flow of the more? What seems to inhibit our progress in these little things? May I suggest two things, but first of all, make an introductory comment by way of a question. What would be better for you? Staying in these little agitations or being in the higher energy flow? At this point in your life, now honestly, what do you want? Do you still want these irritations? Or do you want to expand yourself into that higher sense of self, into that greater flow of energy? As simple as this question sounds, it just goes to the heart of the matter, because quite frankly, it's at the heart of your life. How do you want to go forward? Well, it's a no-brainer. Obviously, you want to go into the highest energy. Why do you want to become stagnant? But it does get to the point that, you got to take a better look at these little obstructions. You have to work at getting rid of them until the joy of the flow takes over. Let me not get ahead of myself, however. So let me now address the two things that I think are necessary to be able to enter into that higher flow of energy, and especially diminishing those little obstructions. Keeping in mind that where the attention goes, the energy flows. Now, the first of these two things, just follow me on this one, might be a little confusing. Now, the first of these two things seems to be the logical place to start. But it's the second of the two things that has the greater power. So let's start there. The second of the two things, which I am now going to share with you and make the first thing, you'll see where I'm going with this shortly, is the following. What I'm going to suggest to you is that the first thing we need to do is to increase the flow of the God Spirit energy. If you think you don't need to do so, look at how many times these little things obstruct the flow. We need to increase the flow of that God-spirited energy, to take the time, to make the time for flow time, to increase the flow of our energy. The reason why the little things get in the way is because, let's just be honest, you're not taking enough time. You're not taking enough time for the higher energy flow. That's why you get irritated so easily. Now, you know that little rhyme which is so helpful concerning spiritual development. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until the good becomes better and the better best. That simple rhyme sets a good stage for us with the following question. So here's the question. What's the best within you? What's the best within you? Is it checking your cell phone every 15 minutes for a text? Is it rooting for your favorite team and then getting bummed out when they lose? Is it missing out on that coupon sale? Or is it, gee, I sat and I ate the whole bag of cookies? I think you're getting the message. The reason why lesser things, and oftentimes not even bad things, but lesser things, obstruct our flow of energy is because we have not taken enough time to increase our spiritual energy flow, which is the best energy that we have. Wherever the attention goes, the energy flows. Now, only you know what you need to do to increase your energy. It might be dedicating the day to awareness from the moment you arise in the morning. It might be to taking time for yoga or some energetic exercise for your body. Obviously, it might be setting time, specific time for meditation. Could be attending one of our study groups or sessions from our programs and now creations. It could be developing a go-to phrase in the midst of the day will stop you from whining and complaining as soon as the temptation arises. Only you know you. But I can tell you that until you increase your spiritual energy flow, that is the best energy you have, you will settle for many of the not so good obstructions which will block the flow. Until you increase your energy flow to the point where you need to, you're going to be beset by little obstructions that block your best energy flow. Now we are getting ready for what is really the most important part of the teaching. Here we go. Please listen carefully. You will remember that I said a few weeks ago that one of the things we address whenever we're working on our energy flow is always taking the time to renew ourselves physically and spiritually so that we can increase our spiritual energy flow right off the bat. Now, the logical step to release old obstructive habits is to work on releasing the old obstructive habits. That you have come to realize that focusing your attention on what you want to release only increases getting locked into them. Neil Donald Walsh gave us that wonderful, powerful phrase when he said that whatever you resist, persist. You know this. The more you work on getting rid of stuff, the more the stuff will be with you. So the key to releasing your obstructions to your higher energy flow is to focus on that higher energy flow. This is clear as a bell for us. Where the attention goes, the energy flows. Now, let me focus just a little bit more your time and attention on this higher energy. And as you increase or work on this higher energy, you're going to find two things that will happen. The first one you know, but the second one is a process that I want to introduce to you here today. The first thing you know is that the more time and attention you give to your best spiritual energy flow, the more you will do so. And of course, the happier you will be, and the happier will the people around you be. You are simply exemplifying the law of attraction. Whatever you focus on increases. Thus, you are increasing your best spiritual energy flow. You know that. But this law of attraction also states something that is very, very helpful to us to release our lower obstructive energies. The law of attraction does say that whatever you focus on increases. But here's the point. But it also says, whatever you stop focusing on, decreases. From this law of attraction, it just makes sense that the more we increase our flow of our best energy, which is really what all of us want. The more we do this, we then will decrease the flow of the obstructive energies that diminish our higher flow. The less time you focus on the old obstructive habits, the more they will be able to be released. Please don't start by focusing on your lower habits. You're just wasting your time. It's the slow boat. Focus on what's best within you, your spiritual flow, and allow the higher form, the higher energy to diminish the time you give to your lower energies. The more you focus on the higher, where the attention goes, the energy flows, which will enable you to diminish focusing on the lower. You know this, that it might just take a little bit of time to understand this following suggestion that I'm going to make to you. I have no illusion that you and I will not magically release our old obstructive habits just in a flash. Such a release will take some time. Again, by focusing on your best energy, your spiritual flow. And here's my suggestion to speed up the process of releasing these old obstructions. Let me say that I know it will work because I've been doing this for the last couple of months, and I can attest to the effectiveness of this suggestion to you. Every time that you are tempted to revert to a lower energy, looking at your cell phone every 15 minutes, complaining about someone who didn't meet your expectations, whining that the newspaper didn't come on time. Every time you are tempted to revert to a lower energy, things that aren't terrible, that they obstruct aggregately your higher energy flow. Upset that the mail didn't come on time. There's nothing good to watch on TV. Nothing good to eat in the refrigerator. Every time you're tempted to revert to that lower energy, stop immediately. Stop immediately. Stop immediately. And return to the flow of your higher spiritual energy, which is the best energy you have. And it'll make you happy. You're advanced enough to do this. Stop the lower energy flow. At first, you might be embarrassed. You might be embarrassed at how many times you'll have to stop this lower energy flow in the course of a day. You'll be surprised at how many little obstructions you have, little things that make you whine and complain, the aggregate of which will block your best self from coming forward. But little by little, the tide will turn. And then more and more and more easily. And you'll be in the flow of that greater, happier energy. Why would you consign yourself to an aggregate of little things that block your best energy flow? Now, why would you do that? Why would you not bring your best energy forward? And in this presence of focusing on this higher energy of your best, then allow the law of attraction to do its thing, not just bringing your best energy forward, but because you no longer focus on those little obstructions, you're no longer feeding them, they can be released. Please try this very clear suggestion and allow it to work for you. In conclusion, the universe will always be expressing as you, whether you want it to or not, but it wants to express as the best you, not the out of sorts you. Stay in the flow of your best energy, not just hoping for a better day, not just sitting around in lower energy, not just settling for less than what you want, but by becoming your best spiritual self. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until the good becomes better and the better best. You know your best self. You know your best self. It's the happiest you, probably what you feel right now. Makes others happy. Let's stay in our best flow, where the attention goes, the energy flows. And yes, we are doing this together. Yes, we are. Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. Let us begin happily, just happily, feeling that presence within us. And as we do so, just to focus on the breath and allow the breath to happily settle us. Settle your body and diminish that mind and allow the inner you to come forward. Please begin. Again, may I simply mention how going to the inner you now is something we go to quite easily. The inner you is much more becoming your surface you. Would you pat yourself on the back for that? You have brought forth that inner place much more now to the outer place. As you walk around in the world, you are much more in that presence. When your eyes are opened, walking around here and there, that presence is coming with you, just more and more and more. It's going to increase coming to you more and more and more. Let's now focus on how we can do that this morning. Would you again place your hand over your sternum, knowing that behind your sternum, right in that area where our soul space is, we know that this is the place where we are who we are. This is the inner you. It is your soul self. It is also your God space. And just take a moment and just say to yourself, I am conscious of being me. I'm conscious of who I am. Now, in that consciousness, only you know your little irritations. Perhaps you really haven't thought about them as irritations. Maybe you've just accepted them as normal. Well, that's just the way that things are. But again, perhaps you fail to understand that it's the aggregate of the little things. Maybe one hour, one the next hour, half hour later, something else. It's the aggregate that starts putting you into a tiz. It starts to block your higher energy. Would you just acknowledge maybe a couple things that you need to work on? Not saying they're major, although they could be, but little things that get you out of sorts. Just take a moment to ponder a couple of them. Okay, so you have those couple of irritations, maybe 3, 4, 5. Now, would you just notice how you feel when you're in those irritations? You don't feel terrible, but you just don't feel good. Now, would you contrast how you feel in those irritations with your best energy flow when you are connected to your source and one with everyone and everything? Contrast the two. It's a no-brainer, huh? Why would you want to stay irritated when you could rise to your highest energy flow? The good news is you have a principle that can direct you precisely in this area. It's that law of attraction. This is a principle, universal principle. And you have enough spiritual acumen to know the two parts of it, not just the first part. First part, everyone knows. Whatever you focus on increases. But you also know the second part. Whatever you stop focusing on begins to be released automatically because you're not feeding it. This takes work. It takes attention. Just a matter of paying attention. For many of us, it means increasing our better energy flow time because, and you just have to admit this, it hasn't been strong enough to deter a lot of the aggregated small irritations. I'm so susceptible to my team lost. My hair doesn't look good. Why doesn't anyone call me? understanding that we're susceptible to these irritations. It's just important for us to not neglect them, but to acknowledge them and to stop. To stop. You know when you're being irritated. Stop. Recall your best energy. Increase its flow. Little by little, now that I have called this to your attention, you'll be amazed at how much better that flow is going to be. Until there just aren't those limitations. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until the good becomes better, and the better, best. You are so ready for your best. And you are living this more and more. Why settle for stuff? It's a great phrase. Great phrase. Where the attention goes, the energy flows. Where the attention goes, the energy flows.
to illumine love without, love within. I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. When you are where you need to be, within that space, I honor thee. Seeing through eyes of illusion, seen through spirit, we are one. I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor
How fun. How fun to share this morning message with you, this teaching. We know what's the best within us. Let's live this way. But I also want to assure you what is presently the best will become better. Guaranteed. Namaste.